Inside these boxes is $10,000 worth of exhaust stuff. Now that is a lot of money, and price does not dictate quality, but I figured I would show you exactly what that looks like, because for all honesty and for all intents and purposes, there's probably only like 10 people that are gonna watch this over the entire lifeline of this video that are actually looking to pick up a Ferrari F430 race exhaust. But ValveTronic has one. We have ValveTronic on the website over at martiniworks.com, and I figured before we install it on the good old 2007 Ferrari F430 that's right behind me, I would show you what to expect when you're spending that amount of money. This is really exciting for a couple different reasons. So ValveTronic Designs sent me this actually about 10 months ago, but I have not had a chance to put it on just yet, mostly because the entire summer we were running around doing content, racing it over in Las Vegas, and then finally when we had the chance to put it on, we had other projects like moving into this shop. So ValveTronic prides themselves on this one, saying that they are the closest thing to getting an F1 sounding street car, which, to be completely honest, you would certainly fucking hope so, right? The piece de resistance of this entire kit is right here. These are the weak point of the Ferrari F430. If you guys don't know, when you get a Ferrari F430, the manifolds are the weakest part of the entire car. The 430 outside of that is actually really, really reliable, which almost sounds like an oxymoron considering the amount of issues I've had with mine, but that's besides the point. That's probably user error. What happens with these is that the way that they're mounted, it's almost too rough, and it causes a lot of vibration to get caused, particularly around the bends of your manifolds. As they crack, which they inevitably do, there's a heat absorption material that kind of looks like asbestos that sits in there. That will actually get sucked back up into the engine. And then when both the intake and the exhaust valves are open, that can actually crawl in there. It can do a lot of damage, and next thing you know, your entire block is borked. So what they do is they recommend that you replace it. Now, how you replace it is entirely up to you. ValveTronic Designs, they use stainless steel T304, and there is other materials out there that you can get. Obviously, they get more pricey as you go up in terms of titanium or Inconel. Now, I chose to go with the T304 stainless. I actually have titanium on it right now, but what I noticed is the vibration was so bad, it kept causing a lot of cracks to happen, particularly around the exhaust tips. So this I'm pretty excited for. These are why we bought the whole thing. In all honesty, this was a repair job. I needed to buy a race exhaust. I needed to, okay? It wasn't a want. I didn't want to buy this. I had to buy this for the good of the car. Now, what I can say that I'm also really excited for is the next bit and piece, because these is where a little bit more of the money kind of sits in this entire kit. When you're looking at this, you're looking at the rest of the assembly, but one thing that's really interesting is this dimple material that you're seeing right here. So what this is the actual base of this piece is T304 stainless, but then it's wrapped in Inconel, which is a very high quality, very expensive metal. Some people will get their entire exhaust made out of this, and to that I say, goddamn different tax bracket. For me, this is good enough, again, because the car sits so hot all the time that if you don't have some sort of way to at least disperse or hold the heat, you're gonna end up melting a lot of your electrical, your rubber grommets, and a lot of things that are hiding in there, because Ferrari doesn't really care about keeping things cool. It just wants to sound cool and go really fast. Here's the other piece. If you guys have seen ValveTronic Designs, which are available at martiniworks.com, okay, if you're looking for car parts, mod your car there. They have a special finish that they do on some of their components. When we did the BMW M4 exhaust, it came in a gold finish. When we did it with the Audi R8, it also had that. Here's a little piece of paper that they give with you. System configuration, race, because we live in Wisconsin. We did not get the cross brace. Valve springs, brush, nope, we got the gold. We did the exhaust flap controller for the vacuum. Inlet size, 2.5 inches. Tip selected gold, number of tips 4, and it was packed by this dude. Now, the finish does not determine the value, okay? It's a marketing thing, it's a look thing, I totally get it, but there is a sense of like, just, oh, that's rad. that I think should be a part of any time. Don't get anxiety, I know what I'm doing. Anytime you buy, look at that. Come on. One of the cool things about ValveTronic, and I'll show you in some of the B-roll, is they also use a vacuum line. They use a vacuum system. There's a valve on this. What that allows you to do, with the press of a button, turn it on, turn it off, closes the valves. You essentially get dynamic sound. You get it when it's loud, you can have it quiet when you want. You pretty much get the best of both worlds. That's good for me because although I love a screaming exhaust, I still want to be conscious of the fact that I live in a neighborhood with a bunch of people. I wish I could show you all of this, to be completely honest, but it's gonna take me like 20 minutes to cut all of this open. So let's get to some B-roll or something and we'll be right back. Gold! Whew! That is 19 items, individually wrapped. There are 3 bags of hardware. The worst part about this, in all honesty, is gonna be putting these tips on, but it looks so good. It's not about how it looks, it's about how it sounds. I totally get that, but there is an element of presence, and I think ValveTronic crushed it. I love the little special ops on the top. I love the name badge here. I love that what I'm looking at looks just kick ass. Everything about this looks awesome. And if you guys are on the fence about having to replace your manifolds and you want to go with something that's a little bit extra, maybe a little bit louder, maybe you don't live in California so you can be a little bit more wild with it, honestly would highly recommend changing up the manifolds, changing up going up to either high flow or the full race cats, because I cannot wait to hear what this sounds like. It's lighter than the OEM. It's gonna be better than the OEM. It's gonna be better than the aftermarket that I have on it that keeps breaking away, because this is going to withstand just about anything plus the temps. I love the fact that they wrapped it in the Inconel to keep that heat dissipation down. I love that the fact that these look high quality welds. Everything looks super good. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that it came with all the hardware. You guys know as well as I do, especially on Martini Works, we are trying to promote stuff that we actually like, that we think is actually going to be good and easy to install. And there's nothing worse than only having half of what you need because the company decided to skimp out on sending you hardware to save $4. And I'm so stoked to not have to see that with this system. What this means though is that all 19 parts of this somehow have to fit between here and here of the car. And I'm not entirely sure how that works, but that is an episode for a different day. We are building the 430 pretty much exclusively over on the Alex Martini channel just because it's my own kind of piece of junk. But if you want to follow along to some of our other builds that we got going on, like the E46 M3, you can head on over to Martini Works, and we just launched channel memberships as well. So if you want to see everything behind the scenes, all the uncut good stuff, the stuff that we're talking about while we're not on camera, you're going to want to go subscribe to that. That would mean the world to us. Remember, if you're looking to get your car ready for the season, you're going to want to mod your car over at martiniworks.com. I'm Alex Martini. Let me know what questions you have below. ValveTronic Designs, thank you so much for coming on board. We'll see you on the next one.